Hey everyone, sorry for the late video, but let's go ahead and get started. We did this one together in class, and so if we look at this one here, we were looking at that Monday was 2/4 of a scarf that was done, and then Tuesday was 5/12 of a scarf that was done, and then what fraction of the scarf has she knitted so far? So we know that we are going to need to add, and then the M plus T, it's Monday plus Tuesday. So we took the 2/4. Now remember, we are using this one today. So we kind of switched it up. And then we're not going to be doing this tomorrow, but we're going to extend it over to the area model so that you can see the relationships. This is just so that you can see how fractions work. So I have the two hexagons that are equal to one whole, one hexagon that's equal to one half. So you see that it's, if you take half of that, so it's only half, right? One trapezoid equals 1/4 because it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 trapezoids to make one whole. Then it has a rhombus, what's 1/6 because it's three rhombus on a rhombi on one hexagon, and then three more on this one, so it's a total of 6. Now remember, there's some kids that were starting to forget about what the importance of the denominator is. That denominator tells you how many total equal parts there are. So that's really important. On that triangle, remember you're going to have 12 equal triangles, 6 here and 6 here. So to give you a total of 12. And so we were looking at which one gives you that 2/4. I have to look. I'm going to use 2 trapezoids, and then 5/12. I'm going to use 5 triangles, and this is the one we did in class for every class. So here I can split this. That'll be 3 triangles. So it's 3 is 6/12 because every triangle has a value of a 12th, and then 5, so it gives me 11/12. I did talk to other classes on this one right here, wanting to let you know I wanted you to add the extension. She's knitted 1/12 of her scarf. She needs to knit 1/12 more to complete her scarf or to finish her scarf. I just want you to be able to see that relationship, that if you've done 11/12 of it, you're only 1/12 away of completing it. Okay, let's move on to this next one. I'm going to go ahead and put it on a clean sheet because we didn't do it in Miss Martinez's class, and so I want to make sure that if you're watching this evening, you're able to see it. Nikari spent 3/4 of her allowance on loom bands to make some bracelets. The next day, she went shopping again, and she spent 1/6 of her allowance on books. So how much of her allowance did she spend? So we need to find out how much of that. I'm writing down that she spent 3/4 of her allowance. I'm going to put it on loom bands. Remember, at this point, we're now going to start to identify what these numbers mean, what the fractions um, mean, and what's the relationship, because it's about getting to know our story problems. Now I'm going to have 1/6, so she spent 1/6 of her allowance, and we're only talking about a few more seconds. She spent it on books. Okay. How much of her allowance does she spend? So this tells me how much of it does she spend. You notice that they don't put all together. That's going to be a fourth grade and a third grade teak when you have that all together. In fifth on up, they won't have that. So you have to look at the evidence in here. It's like, oh, how much does she spend? Well, she spent this one, she spent this one. So I'm going to add. So it's going to be 3/4 plus 1/6. And I'm moving over here to this here, the double one. So it's letting you know to take this home today. So here, my force. I'm looking at my denominator. Which shape over here represents the fourths? You're absolutely right. It's a trapezoid. How many trapezoids do I need? Very good. You need to have 3 of those. It's pretty late in the evening, so I'm just going to get my things. And I gave you the cutouts to your pattern blocks so that you would have those at home. So here is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And then 1/6. What shape represents 1/6? Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Sorry about that. It's going to be the rhombus. So now, what do I need to do to get a shape? Because I can't do that won't work out here. Because this is only going to be 2 here. What shape am I going to use to that go equally into the trapezoid as well as my rhombus? Yeah, remember your triangles? Okay, the triangles are valued at 1/12. So I have 1/12 and 2/12 for my rhombi. So this is going to be equal to 2/12. Then I have my 3/4. Well, I already know from my other one how many triangles do I have. So I kind of already drew that. I'll have to go back and clean them up. So just to show you, I had 1, 2, and 3. So very good. Each one are valued at a 12th. We're using this here. So if I were to add all of these, if there are 3 triangles per rhombus, I have 1, 2, 3. How many total triangles do I have right here? Very good. I have 3, 6, 9. So this is going to be 9/12. Now I can add them. So pretend that I have the 12. I should have that, but I'm trying to save time. So this is 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. And this does confirm that 9 plus 2 equals 11. My denominators stay the same. So she spent 11/12 of her allowance. How much does she have left? Very good. She has 1/12 of her allowance left. Okay, and there we go. And I will do it like that. That way you can pause it if you need to write that down as we go. Please make sure that you've cut out your pattern blocks and follow along so that you can see what we're doing and make those connections. I'm going to flip over my page now. Casey and Brian are doing their homework. Yep, just like you. But Casey finished 4/6 of it, and Brian finished 1/12 of it. How much more homework has Casey finished than Brian? There's that how much more. What operation does that how much more what operation does it tell us when we see how much more? Absolutely right. It's going to be subtraction. So now I'm going to write down my details. I have Casey finished ED 4/6 of homework. And Brian finished 1/12 of homework. And I'm just going to abbreviate it like this. I usually put the HMW, but somehow that M seems to be more work, and I could have already done that. So my question is how much more? My operation is going to be subtraction. So I'm going to take what Casey has, and that's 4/6, and I'm going to subtract the 1/12 from that to see how much I have. I'm labeling this C for Casey and B for Brian. All right, so now I'm going to bring back my kind of my mini anchor chart here. And which shape represents the 6, 1, 6? It's going to be the rhombus. So how many rhombi will I need? 1, 2, let me get the others, 3 and 4. I'm going to take out 4 of those. How many of the 12ths do I need? That's right, I just need 1. All right, can you already figure that out? Good job. So now I have that 1, 2. So I know that there's going to be 2 triangles per one. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8. The value of the triangle is 12, so it's 8 of the 12 minus 1/12. So I need to take 1/12 out of here, and it leaves me with 7/12 left. So Casey completed or finished. My brain went to complete and finish. So I'm going to just write finished. 7/12 of the homework. So if Casey finished 7/12 of it, how much did Brian need? How much more does he need to do? Very good. He needs to complete, he's finished this one. He's only at 5/12. So we just made that conversion. He's finished 1. So he's got 5, well, not Kate, no, I'm so sorry. Let me rephrase that. Casey has 5/12 more to complete to finish it up. So Casey has 5/12 more work to complete. All right. So you can obviously tell Brian's only done 1/12 of it. Casey's done 7/12 of it. So that's pretty good. And he only has 5/12 more to go. So he's on that slope downhill, ready to go. Less than half, because 6/12 is 1/2. So that's really, really good. All right, now let's look at Alfonso. He filled a watering can with 1/2 gallon of water. Okay, so I'm kind of looking at, if this was, here's my water bottle right here. If this was the watering can and it was only 1/2, okay, so let's think of it that way. So always just kind of draw a picture. This evening, my artsy work is not on target, so I don't even want to challenge that. So I'm going to put filled, but you can, you're a great artist. Filled watering can. So we put 1/2 gallon. So he filled a watering can with 1/2 gallon of water. He watered 3 ferns and noticed he had 1/6 gallon left. So how much water did Alfonso use? Is these 3 ferns important to know? No, so that's extra information. I don't need to worry about that because it's asking me about how much water he has left, not how much water each fern got. So here it's, he has 1/6 gallon left. It looks like gallon. Sorry about that. What operation do I need to do to figure this out? So if this is my 1/2, and this is right where he's at down here, how do I find out how much he used here? Very good. So I'm going to need to subtract that out. So I can abbreviate that or write it out. Super important that you write down your operations now because you're going to be getting into more complex and you got to do step by step. So I'm going to take my 1/2 minus my 1/6. We can do this a couple of ways. You can convert your 6s into the 12s, or you can do your halves into the 6. So let's look at this. I have a trapezoid. Looking at my card again. Hexagon. One hexagon is equal to 1/2. Here we go, right here. Okay. And the 1/6, got to get my rhombi out, my rhombus. There we go. All right. Now, on here, I know that how many of the rhombi can I use to make a whole? So that's 1, 2, 3. So I know that 3 of these is equal to 1 whole. So I'm going to write 3 of the 6's, because it's going to take 6 of the rhombus to make a whole, because remember, we're using 2 hexagons, right? So it's 3 6 minus 1 6 equals 2 6. So he's got 2 6-gallons left, or that he used. My brain wants to go back to H2O when I taught science. So he has 2 6-gallons of water. Now, looking at this one right here, if I have 2 of the 6's, right, I know that because here's the 1 and here's the 2. So I have 2 of those left, right? These are both even numbers. I also know these are both even numbers. And I know that they're both divisible by what? Very good. They're divisible by 2. So 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So I simplified it. So I made it simpler. So he actually has 1/3 gallons or gallon of water. So Alfonso used 1/3 gallon of water. And you can put to water the ferns if you want to. I'm just going to leave it like that. If you're wanting it to do it with the 12ths, I have my 1/2 here, and I'll do it over here. So you have your 1/2, and I have my 1/6, which is this here. And I can make the more parts because I knew that this was going to be 2 12ths, so I can have this as equal to 2 12ths. And here, how many 12ths am I going to use in this 1/2? Actually, right. You get 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12. I can't get it. 4/12, 5/12, and 6/12. So this 1/2 is equal to 6/12. How many total 12ths do you have? Well, that's 6, 7, 8. I know that 6 plus 2 equals 8 over 12. Again, these are going to be, these numbers here are both even. I also know that these are both composite numbers too, right? Because I'm going to have more than 2 factors. And they're both divisible by 2. I had to squeeze that in, sorry. By 2. So 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 12 6 times. They're still even, right? So they're both still divisible by 2. So 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times. Oops. Okay, what did I do? I'm wrong. 2 goes into 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times. Check. 2 goes into this one 6 times. Half of 2. Half of 4 is 2. Half of 6 is 3. Okay, do you see what I just did? Look at what I accidentally did. So be super, super careful. So it's not going to be addition, it's subtraction. So here, I'm going to just kind of cross this out and cross this out and cross this out. So 6 minus 2 equals 4/12. Okay, and this is where it would be. Let me go ahead and get a separate sheet of paper and write that to the side. Be super careful. I know some of you did that today with the assignment that we had. So be super, super careful. All right, so this is where we're at here. I covered the other one. 6 minus, so I'm going to put 6/12 minus, because that's I'm taking that away, 2/12 equals 4/12. It's just getting late. They're both divided by 2. They're divisible by 2. So 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 goes into 12 6 times. These are still, and this is where I got this one right here. So my 2 6 and my 2 6 here. So you see that right there? Okay. Now, they're still both divisible by 2, but remember 2 is not a composite. It's the only one that's the only even number that's not. So 2 goes into 2, or I take half of 2 is 1. I take half of 6, that's 3. And this is where I get my 1 gallon. And that's why it was like, what in the world? That's not working out. Okay, so here was our 4/12 that we ended up getting. All right, that was the original part. Okay, that's it for tonight. Guys, I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Please come in, listen to learn, and not listen to um, reply where you're trying to say something before you even know. So stay focused, stay sweet, stay who you are, and peace out. Have a great evening. Bye.